he'd currently be
I think it's
upwards of $1 million
for
player.
Daly. If I was Brendan, I'd want to go. I'd want to go because
Why's
the
that?
last 6 months, all you've read is just the Roosters want to unload him. It's not their sort of player.
Hello and welcome to another week of Immortal Behaviour. Thanks to our friends at Tab. Joey, how are you going this week?
Hello everyone at Tab. Hello Alana. Hello our loyal listeners.
Do you feel like you're going to tee off this week? Or are we nice and calm ahead of round 3?
Nice and calm.
That's
nice
good.
and calm. It's not Origin time, and Newcastle's won 2 from 2, so
Happy days.
zen.
We're in our zen. Well, speaking of Origin, you brought it up again on Freddie and the 8th. Kalen Ponga. He's playing out of his skin. He's doing everything at the moment. You said that if it was picked today, he'd be playing fullback for Queensland?
150%. And you look at that spine, if they're fully fit, Harry Grant, DCE, Munster, KP. Geez, that's scary.
Yeah, his influence.
Kalen is just, he's so good.
His influence is hard to ignore. Scary, being New South Wales. Would you much prefer to be taking on Reece Walsh in the number 1 jersey than Kalen?
None of them. None of them at all. Geez, that's a good spine with KP there. He's the best player in the comp at the moment, without a doubt, and a long way in front of everyone else. At the opening 2 rounds, his influence on the game, well, without him, the first 2 rounds, Knights just don't win.
He'd obviously play a little bit of a different role in Origin though. For Knights, he's coming in at first receiver, he's doing a lot of kicking, but just potent whenever he's near the footy.
Was it his first game? One of the first games he came on and played lock and changed the game. Every time he gets the ball in Origin, honestly, I'm just... he's so good.
So what about his main contender being Reece Walsh? He had the jersey. What does he need to do to improve to try and retain it?
Probably less errors. Last week he was frustrated a little bit, and that'll come. You can't coach that out of players like Reece Walsh, also Fletcher Sharp, who tried to chip and chase Hamiso. You can't coach that out of them. They're instinctive players. He just needs probably to pull it back a bit, Reece, and not try to go the big play every time. You can't, especially at Origin, you can't chase the big play. You got to let the big play come to you, if that makes sense. Yeah, made a lot of errors last week. But even at his very best, if Kalen's at his very best and Reece, you've got to go with Kalen.
It's funny because we were speaking to Reece off air before he came onto the panel. It must have been after that first big win, and he should have thrown a pass, but he didn't, and he got he stuffed up the try.
Yes.
Well, when we were off air, I gave him a little bit of stick, and I was like, I'm going to bring it up. The try that you bombed, and he was like, don't. He was filthy about it, but you could see it was because not necessarily he didn't want to have a laugh, but you could see that he was just frustrated. He did a lot of good things that game. He had a blinder except for that, but that he's like, well, coach said to back myself and to go for it, take those chances, and I stuffed it up. But to see how filthy he was after that, I feel like that says a lot.
Yeah, I remember when they were running left to right, and he went to take on Teddy.
Freddie also did mention on the show about the rep conversation. If you're playing for the Kiwis, you've got to be excluded for playing for your state. Where do you sit on that?
I don't know. It's a tough one because it's such a tribal thing, New South Wales, Queensland. Look, I understand the rules are at the moment that the eligibility, you have to be in Australia before high school. So I think that has to continue. So someone like Jason Taumalolo, he could have played for Queensland because he was here at 12, I think. The other example is Victor Radley. Victor Radley grew up in Sydney, decided to play for England because of his dad's heritage. His dad has the most broadest Pommy accent you've ever seen. Because originally Tonga and Samoa were Tier 2 nations. They're not Tier 2 nations now. They're only going to get better and better and better. They're challenging Australia, New Zealand and England. I think they need to sit down and have a look at it again. But they have to be very careful.
Would you like to see all of those players included, the best players in our game?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? If they're passionate about New South Wales and Queensland, if it's a payday, no, beat it. Don't play. Anyway.
Someone in the hot seat at the moment, Brandon Smith, with the new deal up in the air with South Sydney. Would you let him go to South this season if you were the Roosters?
I don't know, because they haven't got the depth. If I was Brendan, I'd want to go because
Why is
the
that?
last 6 months, all you've read is just the Roosters want to unload him. It's not their sort of player. So I imagine he's just like, well, he's out with the Rico. He's not going to be back till
Like June
mid-year or even later. They're talking July. I think they should let him go now. I reckon South would want him to.
You think
to
they
come
would?
Out. Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you think it's one of their worst buys to date, the Roosters?
No, not really. I'm trying to think at the top of my head. Other ones.
Before they signed him, did you think it was going to work?
Well, I didn't know what they were buying him as. If they were buying him as a utility middle forward or a running dummy half, I would say great buy. But as a genuine out-and-out hooker, week in, week out, playing 80 minutes, no. Because Brendan's a runner and everything he does on and off the field is a million miles an hour. And if you've got a player like that, after 20, 25 minutes, half an hour, he falls in a heap. So he's not an 80-minute player purely because of personality, the way he plays.
Yeah.
He's not as skillful as other dummy halves, but to play in there 10 minutes a game, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a game, and then as a running middle, like the Melbourne Storm did.
I was going to say, the way Bellamy played him was perfect, right?
Perfect. Get out there and play as a running middle, like a little piggy he is, and then jump in and play 10 minutes of dummy half when the game opens up, which suits his running game.
Yeah.
But I think under Wayne he'll excel. Well, Wayne's got a history of dealing with larrikins or colourful characters or strong personalities. So he'll get the best out of Brendan for sure. He's a class player. He's an international class player.
What do you reckon Robbo will do with him for the rest of the year? Obviously, they've said that he's staying at the Roosters. Do you think he'll slot back into first grade if he's obviously passes everything with flying colours?
It depends on Sam Walker when he's back.
Right.
And then it also depends on Sandon Smith and Chad Townsend, whether there's an injury there or a loss of form where Connor Watson...
What if everyone's fit?
I think he'd be probably 14 coming off the bench. Well, then it's Connor Watson. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be on the bench. Fully fit, everyone fit, Brandon fit, I think he'd be on the bench.
Wayne Bennett, you mentioned him before, their first couple of games, close ones, but wins this season. Do you give them any chance at being in the top 8 at the end of the season?
Top 8, yeah, I think they're a real good chance. If they have luck with injuries, look, there's always those half a dozen 5 teams fighting out for 7th and 8th. I think they'll be in that group. But they need luck with injury. But he's just...
But they've had pretty bad luck. Like no Latrell, no Cam Murray.
Well, when Cam Murray went down and they said Latrell's going to be out for 10 weeks, and Shaq, brother of Latrell, Shaq Mitchell. Sorry, when he's out for 10 weeks, I dead set thought they'd be wooden spoon. But the emergence of Jamie Humphries is one. Because Lewis Dodd, there was big question marks over the young English halfback. But Wayne just...
Your latest man crush, Humphries?
Not my own there. Wayne just... They win the close games. I don't know what it is about him. He just makes them believe. And they're winning the close... And that's the difference. My old coach, Warren Ryan, used to say, in 24 rounds, you budget to win 8, lose 8, and then the other 8, the close games, if you win them, that decides your season. So they keep winning the tight ones.
He's also just one of those coaches that players obviously want to play for. It's not just about them and their teammates. It makes a big difference.
There's 2 sorts of coaches. There's X and O's who teach and are very thorough the way they do game plans, and then there's managers, and that's Wayne there. And then other coaches here, like a Warren Ryan or a Brian Smith, is one of those coaches, great educators and great at game plans. Where Wayne's just... He gets everyone happy and he gets them on their toes and gets them ready to play. He's a genius.
Put those beautiful hands back up.
Look at him. That's what happens when you're from Cessna.
All right.
You should see the toes.
Please, can we not talk about the toes this week?
Oh, yes.
I did notice you had sand shoes on.
Yeah.
Good call. Thanks to our friends at Tab, it's now time for the big call. What have you got?
I think tonight's game, Melbourne have a big win in the grand final replay. I think they played last year's grand final without any go forward. Tonight they have Nelson, if they pick him, and also Stefano. So, yeah, revenge is sweet and revenge is on the menu. Down there, they'll have a big win.
I'm excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Before then, we've got a couple of things to talk about. Christian Tuipulotu's try celebration. That's been a big talking point after the after the Dragons game, and it's also been commented on that Flano's now banned try celebrations. Thoughts?
Look, if you win a big game and there's a real big moment and you ice the game in a big moment, pressure on, I can understand then. But the round one, when they were behind by 18, I was like, Christian, what are you doing, mate? Read the room. Can't be doing this rubbish and this when you're down by 18. But, you know, it's a fine line because he's obviously extroverted and that's his personality. You don't want to stop that, but also you don't want to bring unwanted pressure on yourself and the team. So, yeah, wait for the right moment.
You know what I noticed too, after the second and third try when he was doing that, he was running away from his teammates towards the crowd to do it.
I didn't notice that,
Yeah,
celebrate.
Like fully cleared away from, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thought that one was a little bit on the nose.
I think Kyle did the baby thing too. Has he just had a baby or something?
Kyle Flano?
Yeah. He was doing like
they
the
just
rock
got married.
the baby.
Maybe Katie is.
Okay.
Ooh, well, they're trying.
Yeah.
Who knows? Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'll get the scoop. I'll send a text message out for us. Do you think it's a weird hill to die on for Flano, though, to ban try celebrations?
No, not really. As a coach, you got to have that big stick, and this is just one of those times when he's got to bring the big stick out and give him a slap across the backside.
Timing.
So to speak. It didn't sound right, did it?
That's right. Play on. There's some rumours over Daly Cherry-Evans and his future. Potentially going to sign, he wants to re-sign for Manly, but the 600k figure's been thrown around. He'd currently be
I think it's
upwards of $1 million
for
player.
Daly.
Yeah.
If he went on the open market, we've seen what the market is at the moment.
Yep.
he could get 1.3, even maybe more on the open market. 36, but very durable. During his career, he's only missed 20 games.
It's crazy, isn't it?
They're quite protected now, halfbacks too, but it goes to show how professional he is and how smart he keeps himself out of the big sort of contact. I presume Daly's on about 1 point something.
It's upwards of 1.
Because when he backflipped from the Titans, Bob Fulton, the great Bob Fulton, sorted it out. Look, they need to meet in the middle. He can't be on over $1 million. I think a really good figure would be 800, 850.
Particularly if he wants to stay a one club man.
Yeah, he can't play for another team. Simple. It just wouldn't be right for him to finish his career at another team. I don't think the god of rugby league would let that happen, I hope. But 800, 850, because they got a real growing roster with some top line players. Peter Parr told me a story. Peter Parr, who's at the Knights now, who ran the Cowboys for a while. When Jonathan Thurston was off contract, he asked for a certain amount, which probably he deserved twice that. And Peter Parr said, mate, we'll pay you that. But if we pay you that, Matt's got to leave. So
Because they can't afford both.
Because they can't afford both. So obviously JT said, well, I need my partner in crime doing all the hard work for me. So yeah, he took less. And that's what strong clubs do. That's what strong clubs with strong senior players do. They take less money.
And like you said, when you're playing with people you want to play with, right? Like that's the whole thing.
And money doesn't, motivate JT. He's got his own airline. Jeez.
Does he still have that? Is that how we're getting to Melbourne?
I don't know. Me and JT flying together.
Do you think this is the era where players do take that into the equation, taking less for some of the good ones?
Yeah, some. I think you look now in a club where they go, we got him cheap. I can only off the top of my head think of one at the moment is Jamie Humphries, starting halfback for the Bunnies. It's reported he's on $150,000. Look, if he went on the open market tomorrow, he would get $900,000. That's how crazy it is at the moment. So these days, it's very hard for clubs to get bargains, especially in the key positions, in those spine positions.
Yeah, but isn't that crazy that their initial offer allegedly was $600K for Cherry?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful.
That's what makes it disrespectful.
I think it's disrespectful.
All right, that might do us.
But I'd sign him. There, shadow of a doubt. Sign him for 2 years at least. Wayne Bennett, I remember when Wayne Bennett was at Newcastle and they were telling me they were looking to recruit a player. And Wayne's attitude was, righto, what happens if we don't get him? So that's his. So if Daly leaves, there's no halves around.
Yeah.
And coming through there, I don't, off the top of my head, know if there's anyone knocking on the door. There's a young guy who's a rugby union convert, Joey someone. Anyway, maybe I dreamt that, but they can't let him go.
Is this 600k just the start of like maybe they're lowballing to?
Yeah, but you don't do that. Someone like Daly, just go in, sit there, and you know what? Okay, you're going to play on? Yeah, righto, mate. You're on 1.2. We've got to do it. What do you reckon? 800? Yeah, let's go. Sign. Done.
Let's keep playing footy.
Yeah, go out. Go out and win games.
All right.
Get the back right, Daly.
Yeah. Let's head to Melbourne. Big game tonight.
Looking forward to it, actually. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a really good game.
You're going to take your own pillow on the plane?
No, not for one night.
Really?
No.
I thought you were a pillow man.
Well, I got the bad neck, so I need a special pillow. And Freddie...
Willing to risk it for one night?
Freddie always bags me with it. I get a bit self-conscious going through.
Don't listen to Freddie. When have we started to listen to Freddie?
Well, Freddie was wearing Marie's G-string on the weekend at the game. That's why you had the sweaty balls.
Another cracking episode. Thanks, Joey. See you up there.
You've been watching another production from
Nine's Wide World of Sports.